Hello and welcome back. Today we have DC Multiverse Steel from Mcfarlane Toys. I recently picked this figure up cheap off Amazon, namely because I have just finished watching the Superman and Lois CW series, and I realised how much I quite enjoyed seeing Henry Irons / Steel in that series, and wanted to add the character to my collection. Obviously this isn't based on the series but rather the comic book, but that's perfectly fine and will certainly fit in quite nicely with the rest of my figures in the collection. But here we have Steel. He's in that standard DC Multiverse packaging with the window box coming around to the side. Confirmation that's DC Multiverse Steel, and the rest of that standard black packaging, 22 moving parts. On the side there is a preview for the DC, or QR code, for the DC Universe Infinite app, which is their comic reading app. Personally, I subscribe to it and I think it's a great feature. It's very similar to the Marvel one. Again, both excellent prices for what you're getting for your monthly subscription. And if you're not familiar with them, either of them, they are essentially Netflix for comics. On the other side is Steel, as he appeared in the reign of the Superman, which was the death of Superman comic series from the 90s. On the bottom is the barcode and legal. On the back is a comic artwork of Steel, looking menacing there. So without any further ado, let's get this guy opened up. So the inside of the packaging is done in that standard comic book style, in just the blue and white, with a card being stuck to the back along with a stand. So that is our card. That is our profile on the back. Personally, I don't actually collect or do anything with those, so it's not necessary. And we also get a stand, which are useful to have, but again, 9 times out of 10 I don't use them. What I do use, and really wish they would still include, is the Mcfarlane flight stands they had for these, which were always fantastic. Here we have Steel. Comes with his hammer, which is made of a very light bendy plastic. It's done mostly in a grey, but there is some blue marbling throughout, which gives it this nice metallic-y steel effect. Here is our figure. It's got some of those cable ties. Surprisingly, it's just the one cable tie. And here we have Steel. He comes with a plastic cape which is glued into the back of the figure. I know some of the more recent Mcfarlane figures actually come with wired cloth capes, which I definitely prefer. But it's not a bad looking cape. There's some nice moulded detail throughout. It's a nice red. You can see again the figure's done in that grey plastic with those blue marbling effects throughout, which give it a metallic or a metal looking effect. You get a nice big moulded S for the Steel. Some rather detailed abs and a belt with some whitewashing over the top of that. The face sculpt looks like a decent little metallic mask over the head. Obviously it's just a single piece. shoulder pads, and then those wrist gauntlets. It's a decent looking figure. I really like him. Articulation, if we can get him standing, hopefully. So, joints at the feet are very, very tough. There we go. So you can get him standing without too much issue, and I suspect we'll be able to get him fully posed without any issues as well. But articulation wise, head is on a ball joint, so you can get a full range of movement there. Shoulder pads are rubbery, so they will lift up and won't hinder the movement of his arms, which are on those ball joint and swivels. The arms feel quite loose, but that seems to be a standard thing with the Mcfarlane figures, I've noticed, which is a bit of a shame. Double hinge at the elbow and rotation on one of those ball joint pegs at the wrists. There is also a bicep swivel there. The body has a ab crunch, or it's a ball joint swivel rather, at the abs, so you get a full range of movement there, and another ball joint swivel at the waist, allowing movement. Legs are on those standard clip pegs that a lot of the DC figures come with. I'm not a big fan of those. They have a tendency to come unclipped and then won't clip the legs back in properly. But the leg will go back forward that far, will go forward that far. Mostly it's hindered by the cut of the pants here, or the knees have double bend. There's no swivel at the calves or at the knees or at the boot. There is a minor swivel at the ankle, but it's mostly hindered by the moulding of this boot here. But you can get a swivel, same as swivel at the toes. So it's a very standard Mcfarlane figure. Joints are nice and tight. It's just the legs aren't too bad. It's just those arms which are really, really loose. But it's not going to affect articulation. So you can get him posed in some decent superhero looking poses, and he should be able to get a full grip on his sledgehammer. It's a bit of a tight fit on the due to the tightness of the hand. You are going to need to sort of force it a bit to try and get into the position you want it in. So he can get various grips there. Let's bring it up a bit so see if he will get the double-handed pose. So you can have him. He can get double-handed pose there without any issue. You can also drop it down a bit further if you want. So if we say there, and he's holding it there, you can get a decent grip on it. The only problem is because it's a very bendy plastic, it doesn't look particularly firm and it kind of bent, which is a bit of a disappointment. But once it's on a shelf, it's not going to be overly noticeable, and is less noticeable if you have him posed in certain positions. But there we have steel. One other thing, for those interested, he comes in at dead on the 7-inch mark. So there is our steel figure. I like him. I'm really glad to add him to the collection. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. Until next time, stay safe.